What's going on, guys? King Strats here, back into the video on the channel, and today we have a restaurant that I am very fond of. This is my third time going, but I thought it was such a good deal. A couple of weeks ago I did a video saying that the price was insane for the food that I got at another restaurant, and I thought the same about this place, so I wanted to spin back and try some different stuff. I went to a place called Mi Sabor Latino. It's located in Rutherford, New Jersey. Really high ratings across the board on Google and Yelp and the other ordering apps. And this restaurant is Mexican and Salvadoran, so it has dishes from both places. So I tried to get a little bit of both. So drop a thumbs up. You guys already know the vibes. I appreciate it. If you're still here, drop an emoji if you don't know what to say. I just like to see people in the comments. I want to talk to y'all. Y'all know I got love. But anyway, let's get into this. I'm going to start off with something that I've never had before and I wanted to try it. Empanadas. But these are carnitas empanadas, and you get 3 in an order. They are $10, and they're pretty large size empanadas. This is one of them, but they're pretty big. You get 3 of them, and there's got carnitas inside. There's also a bunch of dipping sauces, but of course, first bite with no sauce. That's the this ain't dry at all, without me having to tell you, this ain't dry at all. You get a ton of filling in here. The filling is really flavorful. As you can see, not dry at all. The shell is a little bit greasy, but I don't really mind that. It's not like crazy greasy to the point that I'm not gonna eat it. I'm gonna try this in the pink sauce, aka ketchup and mayo. I'm gonna do better than that. Ketchup and mayo is a good thing, but let's go in green. I think this is my favorite one from last time. Yeah. Honestly, some of the better empanadas I've eaten. A lot of times I get stuff like this and they're really dry. This is the exact opposite. Some people might prefer it. Again, I said it's a little bit oily, but it's not to the point where it's a nuisance. Just almost nitpicking because I don't want to be completely positive when there is something that I can say. But for $10, a lot of places recently, they charge me $10 and I get 1. Or I've seen 12 for 2, but never 3 for 10. And that works in my book. What is this? Is this ketchup? Nah, it's like a hot sauce. Tastes like mole. Ooh. Huh. That might be the one. That might be the one. And I'm going to guess this is sour cream. That is sour cream. This hot sauce is the winner for me. Those are very good. 8.8 out of 10. Now, I got these Salvadoran pupusas. I never had these before, but these are very traditional in the sense of it has what's called loroco in it, which is, I'm going to put the definition up. It says that it's a vine with an edible flower, and I've had the other different variations where people said it wasn't like a traditional one, so I wanted to get these this time. So it's a corn cake, but on the inside will be what it's stuffed with, and there you go. So you can see it on this hand right here, what I am talking about. Now with this, the first time I did it, I got so much flack because I didn't use this curtido. Now normally this came in a bag. This time they put it in a cup. Let me shake this up. But normally it does come in a bag, because then you can use the bag, cut a little hole in it, and then kind of get it from there. But I don't really mind. That's the piece I want right there. Can I try this without first? I just want to try a bite without it. You know what this kind of reminds me of? Like an asparagus broccoli type of hybrid. And I'm not mad at that at all. I ain't got no fork, but I'm not getting up. And then I want to go in with this red. This is the red one, right? Yeah. This is the one you're supposed to. Okay. This is good. The curtido reminds me of sauerkraut, but it's not sour. But the texture, almost like a slaw of cabbage, minus the sour. So, not like sauerkraut at all. Someone was going to say it. I had to beat you to the punch. But the outside's nice and crispy. The inside has a good amount of cheese. And the texture. I personally, the Rocco thing just adds a little bit of that kind of like asparagus-like taste that I was talking about. But if I'm being honest, it doesn't really add much else to it. I don't think it's bad, but from when I had just the cheese one, I preferred the one with the beans and cheese more. Not that I wouldn't eat this. I just have a higher preference. And that's not really a bad thing. It's just everybody's taste buds are different. 3 of these are $11. They're pretty large, and they're stuffed with a good amount. Now, the one thing I will say is, the last time I got this, I got way more of this without having to ask for it. Because as you can see, I'm almost done, but I guess that's good for one order, right? I'm not trying to nitpick, I'm just going with the differences from the first time and the last time. I like these. I prefer the bean and cheese a lot more, but I would still eat these 100%. They get an 8 out of 10. Everything else in this is executed really, really well. I love the crispness on the outside. Next up, we have the Al Pastor tacos, which is one of my favorite kind of tacos. So anytime they have stuff like this, I have to get it. You get 4 in an order. These are, of the things I've gotten, probably one of the more pricey things. It depends on where you are. I've seen this as cheap as $10, but this was $14. Not really that bad. I've seen it as high as $20, which is extortionate. But you get 4 tacos, double shell. Gotta be double shell. Very important. And they are filled a ton. So there is a ton of... There, that's a better idea. A lot of times you don't get like filled to the top like this, and they are double stuffed. Some places will charge you extra for the extra tortilla, which again, that's your prerogative. Let's go in with the lime. And where did... Not much. Not the juiciest lime I've ever seen, but... I'm gonna have to work with this one a little bit. Onions and cilantro are already on here. Nice double stuffed shell, corn tortilla. You can see the pineapple. I'm big, I like the pineapple in there. It just provides a little bit of sweetness to go with the savoriness. And then a little bit of that onion with the cilantro. Where's that? I like this salsa right here. It's like hot sauce. That. With the sweet. Their al pastor is not dry at all either. I've had some where when they take it off of the vertical spit, it gets really, really dry by the time you get it home. This doesn't suffer from that at all. The ones I've done in this area, I put those in my top 3. They're good. I'm going to find myself picking at a bunch of them. Okay, one more. Yeah, I'm going to have to eat another ones when we have our conversation. But I give those a 9 out of 10. Now, last we have an order of their birria nachos. I had their tacos as well as their nachos with the birria. I preferred the nachos because I got more for my money. Because of its popularity, it's become one of the most highest priced things that you can get on most Mexican type of menus. And these nachos were $15. But I got to give you full disclosure on this. This is just me being 100% honest. This is my 3rd time ordering nachos from this. This is the only time they've given me nachos in the smaller container. Every other time I ordered nachos from here, it was in one that was double the size and the price was the same. I had to go back to the archives for this, but I looked at my other 2 videos that I did, and I have photographic proof that these nachos were in a different size container. So I'm not sure what happened. I hope it's not because like they're trying to cut costs as far as maybe just maximize their profits, or is it because, and I hope it's not because business is slower and they feel like that's like it's a waste. I sincerely hope that. I hope they're just trying to cut costs. I know, because I would rather have it that way than this way. But from what I remember, the birria on this is really, really flavorful. The only problem with this container is I feel like I can't get to them. Look at how much you get, though. You get a metric ton. There's beans, guac, cilantro, sour cream, cojita cheese is on here as well. I'm not sure if there's actually cheese other than that one. There's no, like, nacho cheese, which I would prefer it like this than the nacho cheese, but their birria is really good though. And I will say this, even though this container seems smaller, it seems like the same amount of meat. Can you see in there? There's a layer of birria right here that goes all the way to the other side. It's right underneath, so it's not like they didn't give you a lot of meat. So I'm not really mad at that, because when I pick this up right here, again, all birria and guac, and you can see there's more underneath there. So I just had to point it out. Oh, that's a nice lime flavor on that too. This tastes even better than the first time. Maybe a smaller container, maybe it'd pop more. Again, one more time just to prove a point. Not me trying to talk down, I just was an observation. Man. Oh, that is good. That is good. I'm gonna be honest with you. This is all, look at this. There's no nacho chip in here. There's more birria meat in here. I could have made a taco with this. The actual nacho chips. I stand corrected. You can do this anytime you want to. I'm fine with it. And that is flavorful. Oh my goodness. This is the best thing here. This is the best thing here. Look at this bite. Look at this, bro. There's a nacho chip under here somewhere. I think they just changed the container, because you do get just as much as last time. My only gripe now, though, is because of that, I can't seem to get the nacho chips out. But if you're going to give me this much, I don't care. If I'd have ordered an extra tortilla, I could have made a whole burrito out of this. That's insane. And the flavor on this is also insane. That's my favorite. It was my favorite thing both times. That's, man, look at this. I've been sitting here chomping away. This is dangerous. I think I said that last time. Video I did too. Okay. I would order this every single time. Even their guac has a nice hint of lime with it. That just brings the flavor, makes it pop even more. Oh, great. Those are great. Those are great. 9.5 out of 10. Those are great. I know I said it 4 times. I mean it. Got me slumped in the seat like this. I don't even know why I'm leaning. Those are great. Now, I can't play this entire clip, but it is something that I want to talk about. There was an incident with Kanye West that involved a TMZ reporter asking a question about his wife, and he took exception to it, in which he grabbed either her phone or her camera and wouldn't give it back until he eventually gave it back. But I'll show you some clips.
Has her free will. Some people are saying you're controlled. Yeah, kid. Exactly.
Everything, you understand that, miss? I'm a people not running up on me with that foolishness ever again. Tell your boss.
Why I wanted to talk about this is like a 2-part thing, and this is one of those things where I don't necessarily think either of them were wrong. Let's start off with Kanye West. In the video, he says a bunch of times, "Don't ask me that, I'm a person." To which I do completely agree with him. I know that some people look at celebrities and say that's what you signed up for, and you're 100% right, which we'll talk about in a second. But I understand, especially a person as outspoken and unfiltered as he is, how difficult it can be to be in the public spotlight, even in days that you don't want to be. And one of the things I think that a lot of people don't realize is when it comes to being a public persona, public figure, on the level of him, it's levels that we couldn't even fathom or dream about. And in his case, I know that he does have some, like, mental health issues that he suffers from, which he's kind of been outspoken or just outspoken himself about. And there are just, like, okay, I'll put it in the ways that, like, we can relate to this. Oh, good. You ever had a bad day? You ever had a day where you woke up and you were just not in the best mood? And You almost left your house saying, I hope nobody starts nothing with me today, because I'm just not dealing with it. And on that day, maybe somebody said something to you and you might have gotten a little heated. That's like every day for them, because they can't leave their house without having a camera on them. And I don't think most people are built for that. I don't think I could deal with that. But because of that, you're going to have outbursts like that when someone comes in your, like, with a camera and now they're asking you about your wife. Personally, I get where that part comes from, because I'm protective of my family in a very similar way. I'm not talking about from TMZ. I'm not cool. I'm talking about just in general. I don't care what people say about me, but I don't like when people talk about my family. Just in general. Like, negative stuff about my family, I'm talking somebody who might talk to me in real life. If they got something negative to say about my family, we might have an issue. So, I'm kind of protective of that. So I understand where he was coming from. And TMZ can be ruthless. You've seen it. You've seen some of the stuff they've done over the years, and obviously we know what that is. And the reporter, or, you know, I don't know what you call them, paparazzi, she was just doing her job. So I understand why she did it. From the video, she just kind of walked up on him. She just said, hello, can I talk to you about your... That's got to be really weird. But I guess it is her job. But she still has to understand that, like, I guess that comes with the territory too. No matter who you are, no matter what, like, there's consequences to what you do and say. So, do I think that he was in the right for taking her phone? No. I can understand why he did it. Do I think that she was necessarily... Like, you run the risk of having that happen if you run up in somebody's face with a camera, no matter who they are. Because they don't know you. So, it might be a problem. But I couldn't fathom being a celebrity to that magnitude, that I couldn't leave my house without someone putting a camera in my face. Because there's days where I feel like I just feel like crap. I look like crap. I don't want to talk to nobody. And even with those, you're still required to smile and act like nothing's wrong. And it's got to be tough after a while. We've seen these incidents with a lot of celebrities. There's a very small handful of celebrities that haven't had an incident like that yet. And most of them, I feel, have done it in the right way. Where they have even politely asked a reporter kind of to back up, or, you know, like one at a time, or things like that. Where I think that's the best way to try to handle it. But I remember an incident with, like, they say some of the nicest celebrities, like Keanu Reeves is one of them. I heard Tom Hanks is really nice. And I remember he had an episode where he got really mad because they were doing stuff about his wife. And he politely started screaming. I just kept thinking about, I couldn't imagine being on the level of having people shove a camera in my face doing the most everyday things. Where you really just have no privacy. Most of us, luckily, will never have to deal with that, because I don't know if I could deal with no privacy. I like privacy as much as the next person, but I couldn't imagine every time I went out of the house just to, like, take the trash out. I mean, rich people don't do that. Some of them do. But you get the idea. It's got to be tough. I wouldn't want to do the job of a TMZ reporter either, because I couldn't deal with somebody doing, like, if you take my camera, like, I might have to throw something at you. But in his case, in my opinion, he could have gotten mad. But taking someone's camera, I've seen issues where they smash people's cameras. I've seen issues where, you know, they run off with their stuff. There is a bit of a civic duty when you get to that point, that that's the price you paid. That you have to still be polite to people that are rude to you. And it's not an easy thing sometimes. But the thing that I've realized, just in life in general, is the person who responds, even if you're right, you're never really right. So you've got to have that civic mindset and civic duty to be like, nah, I can't do it. That's why I try to be nice to people. And I know sometimes I've seen comments from people tell me that I'm like, I be trying to be too straight-laced and stuff like that. I view people as people. That's why I am that way. I'm a human being. I get annoyed just like everybody else. But I try not to be like derogatory towards the individual because you never know what people are going through. And I understand that. Some of the most obnoxious, loud, and rude people, I know you can say that they deserved it, but some of those people have the most self-esteem problems, the most issues, anybody who goes online and your entire personality is to troll people, more than likely, like, there's probably some sort of thing that you don't like that's going on in your life that you're trying to project on other people. And I can understand that. If you took time out of your day to try to make other people feel bad, or in this case, talking about somebody's wife, that's her job. She's getting paid to do it. But there's a lot of people doing what she's doing for a living, but they don't get paid for it. And that's why I try not to be rude to people in general. Because you never know what people are going through. And we've seen it time and time again. Some of the people that talk about or seem the happiest on the outside aren't really happy. And I don't want to add to that problem. Just because I might get my feelings hurt for a second. You feel what I'm saying? So that's why I'm just like, people think I'm politically correct. It's just because I have always said to myself that if there's nothing good that can come from a conversation or a comment or an insult, why do it? What's the point? I said that in the video before this, but I'm just kind of compounding on it. And I think people don't see things from the celebrity side. They just say, oh, you signed up for it. I agree to a certain point, but I don't think people signed up for it to that magnitude. And it's much different these days because of things like social media, where the gap between a celebrity and everyone else is now much shortened because we have direct access to them. You can go on any celebrity's post and comment, and they're going to see it. 30 years ago, it wasn't really like that. You had to see them in person in order to troll, which made things a lot different. People don't talk the same in person as they do in real life. You know what I'm saying? So it created a bit of a buffer zone. Sometimes I think about what would it have been like if people like Michael Jordan, or hell, the Beatles, Michael Jackson, were at the height of their popularity in an era of social media. How would they have acted? We never know. So we have this nostalgic look like people knew how to handle themselves back then, but they weren't dealing with this type of stuff. Michael Jordan has never been trolled after a game like LeBron James or Tom Brady has, or Patrick Mahomes has. It's never happened, because it didn't happen. After he won a game, Michael Jordan went in the locker room, he got changed, he went home. He didn't put a picture out and said, great win today, where people on the post are saying some of the most heinous stuff. You don't believe me? Go look at like Patrick Mahomes' last post. I'm sure he posted something after the game. Just look at what people say. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy out here. And we didn't have to deal with stuff like that back then. You know? I had a conversation with somebody today before I got here. I want to talk about this real quick. Where they were talking about the ban. There's some schools that are starting to ban cell phones. Or specifically, there was a school in New Jersey that's giving kids this. It's like a case, but it's locked and they can't open it during school hours. And the kids are starting to rebel against it. And they're refusing to do it. Which, I'm old enough that I remember when people passed notes in school, but I also am young enough that we too had cell phones in high school. Social media just wasn't what it is now. There wasn't as much readily available. We didn't do everything on our cell phones back then. We did some stuff. Yeah, we texted and, you know, we looked up stuff, but not to the degree it is now where people live on their cell phones. When I got to school, I put my cell phone in my locker. It wasn't even a thought process. If I wanted to talk to one of my friends, I sound so old when I say this because some of y'all are like, what? You know what I did? I would find them. Like, if I was like, yo, where's bro at, right? I would just be like, okay, I'm just gonna look for him. Like, my first thought process was never to text him. It was like, go find him. and now y'all have so much ready communication. I understand why they don't want cell phones in the classroom completely, because it's definitely a distraction. And also, if I'm being 100% honest, if I had a cell phone in high school, I would have cheated on like every test, bro, because y'all got this right there. You could Google anything in school. We couldn't do that. It wasn't even a thought process, which is the crazy part. The stuff we had to do, we had to do, to cheat on tests, people were putting notes in their socks. I had a kid one time get caught because he had a Nike wristband on. He had a whole cheat sheet in his Nike wristband. And we had phones. It's a weird thing because we didn't think to do it any other way. We didn't think to put it in our iPhone notes. We didn't think about it. It wasn't even a thought process. We could have. We didn't. Which is weird, but I just kind of wanted to talk about those things. I know that some of this stuff people are still going to have contention points. And again, I just try to tell people that we're all human beings out here. And if somebody didn't do something to directly offend you, just try to be kind, man, because you don't know what people are going through. And that's the realest thing I can ever. You never know what people are going through. And you don't want to make the world a crappier place just because you don't like something. You get what I'm saying? There's always a time and a place. Now, if somebody's being offensive towards you, different story. Completely different. Do what you got to do. But if they ain't bothering you, just let them go, man. But that's going to be the end of the video. This food is delicious. They had me shook for a second with this. But again, I'm going to give y'all one more before I get out of here. It's a ton. Now, tonight, half of this. And there's still like 4 pounds of beauty on here. I don't know how they got away with that. But we will be back tomorrow. More content, man. I love y'all. The hand signs. They made it to YouTube.